we set up our Raspberry Pi system into this little unit. We're able to set up everything in here. I'm going to show you guys the back end of it. We got everything set up. We got the actual USB, which we're actually connecting one of the Xbox controllers to it. We set up a keyboard so we could program it, your power, and the secondary power. Let's take a look at an LCD display. Now this is a portable one, and it's about 7 inches tall, but you could do great things with it. And we're gonna open it up and see what you get when you get something like this. But before we start, just let you know, it was kindly enough for the vendor to send it out to me for review. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. First thing you see is all the digital stuff in the back, and this is the display port stuff. And this is where you actually plug in a Raspberry Pi, or you can use this alone, a standalone system. So you got the brightness and volume here. If you guys can see it, you could click down, move up and forward, and it goes back to the centerpiece. You got the audio connection in here. Then you got your USBs, micro USBs connection, and you have an HDMI connection, of course. Other than that, you could actually mount your Raspberry Pi right behind it. And there's a couple of mounts that you have options to mount it from. And they give you little options to mount it anywhere, pretty much on a wooden area. And look at the screen. It's really small and petite. It's the size of pretty much like a portable unit, like a Nintendo Switch, pretty much. So let's see what else you get. Right? They give you HDMI to HDMI, and then they give you micro USB to USB Type A. And then they give you adapters in here. And of course, these adapters are for other modules that you can include in there. They give you the screws and the actual stand too. They give you, this is a plus for me. They give you the actual speakers, and then here's 2 HDMI adapters for one. USB type, micro USB to Type A connection adapter, and HDMI to HDMI adapter. All right, we're gonna take a look at the actual module. If you can see it, I have the Raspberry Pi 4 in here. It's a little bit off, so I'm gonna have to elevate just a little bit because it is hitting this part right here. So in order to make it adapt to it, you have to actually elevate it just a couple of inches higher than what it is. Just a couple of inches, and they do give you some razors, and so you could raise it up a little bit. Of course, before that, they have these little caps in here that you have to remove, of course. So here we actually mounted the razors to raise it up a little bit. If you guys can see it, it's because it was hitting this little thing. So you need to move this plastics, the little plastic covers, and just twist it, hand twist it. You don't have to tie it up with any tools. And pretty much that should clear it completely out of the actual area. And we're gonna have to line these up. Of course, they give you the extra adapters. If you guys can see all these adapters, so you can line them up too before you connect it there. So let's go ahead and do that. Connect it to this module here. There we have it. We got the actual system set up, and if you guys can see it, it's above it, so it's not going to be interfere with anything connecting there. If you guys could see it on the side angle, it's perfectly fine now. That connects the actual HDMI to the actual motherboard of the Raspberry Pi. And then they give you a great option if you want to put fans, which we could do a fan in here. If we have one, we could plug it in. If you buy an additional fan, you could do it in and connect it there, so it could cool down your CPU on the Raspberry Pi. We set up our Raspberry Pi system into this little unit. We're able to set up everything in here. I'm going to show you guys the back end of it. We got everything set up. We got the actual USB, which we're actually connecting one of the Xbox controllers to it. We set up a keyboard so we could program it, your power, and the secondary power. Now, I'm going to show you something unique on this system too. Besides the stuff that I set you guys up and just showing up the Raspberry Pi, we're going to show you how to use a power bank. If you guys have a power bank, you can use this to power up Raspberry Pi, and you could use it to power up anything else, and the screen too. So if you're going to take it portable, you can make it portable. If you're going to make a little standalone system, you can do that. And also, I'm going to show you how to connect to your actual laptop. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we just got power from the power bank. We're powering up the actual Raspberry Pi. And you guys can hear it. This thing's freaking loud. Let me bring it down a little bit. We're running out the power, and right now this is 100%. It's going to last us a couple of hours, so it's perfect for the road. You could take this on the road with a power bank. If you guys can see, it's loading up. So here we go. Let's go ahead and review something. First of all, you got your Xbox controller right here. You got a keyboard set up. You got a power bank. I'm running everything out of the power bank right now. And then you got the screen, of course. And then in the back of it, we got our Raspberry Pi, of course. We're not going to forget our Raspberry Pi. That's how we're going to get the emulator, and we're going to start playing some games. All right, we're going to demonstrate now that we can share the screen. We're going to need the actual HDMI connection that we're going to go ahead and put together, if you guys can see that. And then, of course, we're going to power it up from the laptop. So we're going to plug it in from the laptop. All right, as you can see right now, we have the clone monitors. As you can see, I'm using it. Now, it's not touch until you actually connect another USB to it under the touch area where it says touch input. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set that up. All right, so we got our system here. If you guys can see the screen, I'm gonna put it a little closer so you guys can see it without the reflections. This screen is really good quality. Of course, it has a touch screen. You do need the extra USB if you're gonna make it double with the touch screen plus the power. And if you disconnect either one, it'll still power up. So you have that as backup. So you have your HDMI and then you have the two USBs, of course, as you can see. Now, this is pretty good if you're going to do a DIY project, if you're going to build your own computer, or I've seen these where they're actually setting these up in front of the screen, in front of the actual desktops. It's some great inventions that people have been actually using these things for. I like the feature that you can use this as a dual screen, or if you want to, you just use the Raspberry Pi. Now, right now, I'm not using the Raspberry Pi. I would have to power it up and it automatically connect to it. You can use this as a touch screen too, but you are going to have to set it up first of all before you do the touch screen. Now, I like the speakers. They're super loud, and as small as they are, they're a little loud. So I like that they give you the option for the actual Raspberry, or you could just use it as a regular dual screen. Now, if you're going to do your DIY projects, like I said, this is a perfect way to get there.